Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees to mid-morning japa session of Prabhupada's Lilamrta. So today we are going to start our reading with our world tour, and the paragraph starts with Srila Prabhupada emphasize the difficulty. So Mataji, if anybody would like to start today's session. So then I would like to. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Please go ahead, Mataji. Vasavi Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada emphasizes the difficulty of attaining spiritual knowledge in the material world. Recalling a recent talk with a physicist in Kansas, he told how the man had adamantly refused to understand the existence of the soul. So the
Vasavi Mataji, your voice is breaking, Mataji. Can you come a little bit closer to?
Yeah, closer. Now, Mataji?
Yeah, now it is better, Mataji.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada continued, speaking slowly out of his great compassion for the fallen souls. He appeared. Krishna comes also, but Krishna is not so liberal. Krishna makes conditions that first of all you surrender, then I take charge of you. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more compassionate than Krishna. Although Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the same thing, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we are so easily understanding Krishna. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present here. You worship him. It is not very difficult. Yajnaihi Sankirtana Prayer Ignati hi Sumedasah Krishna Varanam Krisa Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam. Yajnaihi Sankirtana. You simply chant Hare Krishna mantra and whatever you can offer Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is very kind. He does not take offense. Radha Krishna worship is a little difficult. We have to worship with great awe and veneration. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has voluntarily come to deliver the fallen souls. Srila Prabhupada continued explaining the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya does not accept any offense from his worshippers, and he is pleased just by your dancing and chanting, the easiest process of God realization. So as far as possible, Prabhupada requested, if possible, 24 hours. If that is not possible, at least 4 times, 6 times, chant the Hare Krishna mantra before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you will get success in your life. So I am very glad that you are worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So continue to do this. There is no need of installing Radha Krishna. At least at the present moment, when you become more advanced in spiritual consciousness, then you can establish. But even if you do not establish, it does not matter. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sufficient. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is combination of Radha Krishna. In one place you worship Radha and Krishna. So I see this place is very nice, and you are also very, very nice. There nothing is there. Take advantage of his opportunity and go on chanting Hare Krishna mantra and worship Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He will bless you sufficiently to become successful in getting shelter at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vasavi Mataji. Mataji, who would like to go next?
Mataji, I can read.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Srila Prabhupada stayed in the house next door to the temple in several rooms prepared for him. In the living room, an altar was set up, and to the right and the left of the altar were potted tulsi plants in white straw basket. On the wall hang a large poster of Lord Krishna speaking to the disappointed Arjuna, traveling such a great distance from South America to leave again after a few days or two, after a day or two, was a real test whether Prabhupada could follow his usual schedule while in Miami. But he did, as usual. He took that evening and arose about 1 a.m., translating and commenting on Srimad Bhagavatam in the same room he had slept in, where he was. Srila Prabhupada was already was study with Krishna, as he had commented, "No place in my home. My home is the lotus feet of Krishna." Putting aside his books, Prabhupada took his japa beads and in the still pre-dawn began chanting, packing back and forth in the room. Shrutakirti, who had returned as Prabhupada's servant, made obeisances and performed some duties in Prabhupada room. While chanting, Srila Prabhupada gazed at the picture of Krishna and Arjuna. Suddenly he smiled and said, "I like this picture very much. It is very instructive." What is that? Srila Prabhupada, his servant, asked. Krishna is saying. Srila Prabhupada explained, you have to give up everything. Very difficult job. You have to kill your family members. Arjuna could not do it, but he had to do it because it was Krishna's order. That is Krishna Bhajana. One has to be ready to give up everything and do what Krishna wants. Dawn arrived, but the skies remained grey. Prabhupada went by car to scheduled section of Miami beach and walked along the shore. He wore a wool chadar against the slight chillness in the air. Sureshwar, we were talking about right along the edge of the water, and the water would come up, and Prabhupada would touch just beyond where the water reached. He would take a little hole in the sand. Someone would ask a question, mostly Kamala Krishna Maharaj, and Prabhupada would sometimes stop walking to answer it. At one point on the walk, when Prabhupada stopped to answer a question, I stopped right in back of him. We would all walk with him, and the position of the people would change just by the nature of our walking. At one point when he stopped, I was right in back of him, behind his head, and he answered the question. He turned and faced me. I suddenly had an intensive understanding that even though I was next to Prabhupada physically, actually I was million miles away from him, because my consciousness was so un-Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada wanted to see the temple rooms and the ground, but when he walked into the yard and saw the covered with leaves from the various trees, he showed his displeasure. What is this? Repented the temple president. Abhirama, saying that ground should also be kept clean. The leaves racked. Actually, because the yard had no grass, the devotees had carefully gathered the leaves and spreaded them over evenly all over the yard, thinking they would look like a soft carpet of Prabhupada. They imagined he would like to walk on it. When he went to the Vyasas, and they had set up for him outdoor and under the banyan tree, but Prabhupada criticized the dirty, unkept appearance, this was Krishna's property, he said, and should not be neglected. Look at the neighbor's yard, he pointed out. Their yard are clean. Why do you have leaves on the ground? Abhiram made an excuse under the leaves. He said there is only dirt. Only dirt. So we thought the leaves would keep the dust from raising. Prabhupada replied sharply, there are nice lawns everywhere. Why here you have dirty? Why? I would like to stop here, Mataji. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Vinita Mataji. Mataji, if anybody would like to continue from next para, another Miami devotee.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I read?
Yes, Mataji, Sita Priti Mataji. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Another Miami devotee made the mistake of replying, Prabhupada, there is no one to do it. Srila Prabhupada looked around at the 20 people following him. How is this? No one to do it? He refused to speak in the backyard until they cleared away the leaves. And so, while Srila Prabhupada went to his room, the devotees began to remove the carefully placed carpet that they now saw as piles of dirty, insect-infested leaves. For breakfast, Srila Prabhupada took the juice of local coconuts, which were golden colored, and found it delicious. He also took his favorite fruit, mango, which grew abundantly there. His class was in the evening, and so he took time in the morning to speak with Abhiram. Abhiram presented an idea of forming a farm community in Florida. He told Srila Prabhupada about Disney World in Orlando, where Maya was presented expertly. We should also have a place like that, Prabhupada replied. It should be called Vaikuntha World, a farm community. Prabhupada said should be according to Varnashrama, and everyone should be engaged according to his propensity and occupation. Hare Krishna Mataji, I will stop over here.
Thank you so much, Sita Priti Mataji. Mataji, if anybody would like to read from next para, the evening class was a treat.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read it.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. Can I know your name, Mataji?
Satvi Radha Devidasi.
Satvi Radha Devidasi. Okay, Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
The evening class was a treat. It was cool, about 70 degrees. Compared to the oppressive heat of the day, the setting was dramatic. Spotlights shone on Srila Prabhupada as he sat on Vyasasana under the banyan tree, while guests and disciples sat around his feet. Prabhupada chose to speak on the first verse of 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Although he lectured regularly on Bhagavad Gita, as he traveled, he did not use consecutive verses from city to city. In each city, he would open the book at a different place and learn from there. Srila Prabhupada had repeatedly taught that the basis of Bhagavad Gita and all spiritual life is to hear submissively from the spiritual master. Our Krishna consciousness movement is teaching people how to become submissive to the authority. Again, he recalled the psychiatrist who visited him in Charachas. The man's arrogant submissiveness had made an impression on Prabhupada. Even so-called educated men were too proud to submit themselves to absolute authority. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Satvi Radha Mataji. I'm really sorry I did not mention your name in the chanting, Mataji. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Mataji.
It's fine, no problem. Hari bol. No, it's okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hari bol, yeah.
Mataji, if anybody would like to continue the psychiatrist.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Gatangi Mataji. Dandavat pranam, Mataji.
The psychiatrist's question was, Prabhupada said to his audience in Miami, the problems of the world are increasing. So what is your prescription to solve these problems? So the problem is very easy to be solved. I gave the example that the body is here and there is something which is moving the body, the living force. Sorry, Mataji. So the problem is very easy to be solved. I gave the example that the body is here and there is something which is moving the body, the living force. So that living force is the driver of the body, and also the body is described in the Bhagavad Gita as a machine. Prabhupada explained the Bhagavad Gita words, commenting that real knowledge was to know the difference between the self and the body. To manufacture a nice car or machine was not education. In India, Prabhupada said, he who knows how to join wires and bring current like an electrician is called a Mistri. Mistri means worker, but that does not mean he is educated. Education is a different thing. But at the present moment, the education is technical. Formerly, this technical education was entrusted to the demons. Formerly, they also manufactured big airplanes, but that was being done by the demons, not by the great saintly persons or sages. No, that was being done by the demons. The yogis could also produce wonderful things by their yogic mystic power. That was another thing. But generally, when there was a question of manufacturing, that was done by the demons. Education, however, means Brahma Vidya, to understand what is the living force within the body, what is its constitutional position, how is it working, where from it has come. On the second night, Prabhupada lectured again. Each talk was lengthy and he answered all questions. As the last question on the last evening in Miami, one of the devotees asked, Srila Prabhupada, if someone takes prasadam even once, is it true that they are guaranteed at least a human body in their next life? Yes, Prabhupada replied. You go on simply eating, that's all. And all of my devotees, they have come to me simply by eating prasadam. As he said this, Prabhupada was beaming, smiling, looking all around. When his glance fell on Abhirama, the temple president, who sat beside him, Prabhupada said, You too, Abhirama? Abhirama looked sheepish and said, Yes, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada made other devotees admit their attraction for Krishna Prasadam. You also, he asked one after another. You also, everyone admitted, until the audience was thrown into laughter and appreciation of Prasadam. Yes, Prabhupada continued in good humor. So we give all facilities. If you cannot do anything, please come and eat with us. All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Mataji, I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalitangi Mataji. Mataji, if anybody would like to continue from next, Atlanta, February 28, March 2nd, 1975.
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, Anurada Mataji. Please go ahead.
It is the deities of the Lord Chaitanya, right? Am I right? I just
yes, correct.
Atlanta, February 28th, March 2nd March 1975. The deities of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu in Atlanta are over 4 feet tall and effulgent. Their lotus feet are usually fully visible, transcendently poised atop the whorls of lotus flowers. Their arms are upraised above their heads, and they urge everyone to dance and taste the nectar of the holy names of Krishna. Their faces show mild, compassionate smiles, and the mode of worship of God they are delivering, as described by Srila Prabhupada, is very, very lenient and easy to perform for the unfortunate people of the present age. On his arrival within the Atlanta temple, Srila Prabhupada was very moved to see Gauranitai. Now, in the 3 consecutive stops, he had entered each ISKCON temple for the first time and taken the darshan of Gauranitai. This time, as in Caracas, It overwhelmed him. About 300 super enthusiastic devotees had gathered to meet him. Aside from the residential devotees of the Atlanta temple, some 40 brahmacharis from the Tamal Krishna Goswami's Radha Damodara bus parties, about a dozen brahmacharis from Satsvarupa Maharaj's traveling library party, about a dozen men from Tripurari's airport book distribution party, the devotee scientists of Sarup Damodar's Bhaktivedanta Institute group, and other visitors were present. They had greeted Prabhupada outside the building as he had pulled up in a black Lincoln, and now they followed him with an uproarious kirtana into the temple room within the large house that served as the Atlanta temple. Srila Prabhupada stood before the deities. The ceiling and walls of the deity room were mirrored and produced an unusual effect, multiplying the images of the Gaurnitai deities. Prabhupada approved of it. He then walked from the front altar to the Vyasasana, glancing upon the devotees as they parted their tight ranks and allowed him to pass. He sat upon the Vyasasana facing the devotees, who quickly hushed into silence. So I am very glad to see you, Srila Prabhupada began. I am coming first of all from Mexico City, then Caracas, then Miami. I see your temple is the best. At this, the assembled devotees, especially the Atlanta devotees, burst into loud, unrestrained cheers and cries of Jaya Haribo. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very kind, Srila Prabhupada continued. Parama Karuna Pahuduijana, two lords, Nitai Gaurachandra, Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are very kind, you see. They have appeared just to reclaim the fallen souls of this age. So they are more kind than Krishna. Krishna, he is also very kind. He comes to deliver, but Krishna demands, first of all, surrender. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not demand. At this point, Srila Prabhupada became overwhelmed with transcendental emotion. He tried to speak. He uttered, "He is so kind." But then his voice broke and he began to shed tears. He spoke on, but his voice became very high as he was gripped by an ecstasy that made him helpless and inconceivably humble. So take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he cried out, and be happy. Thank you very much. And then he stopped, unable to say more. The devotees themselves felt carried away and cried out, Haribo, in loud unison. Then, as if commanded, they all bowed down and uttered obeisances, Namo Vishnupadaya. Srila Prabhupada's arrival address was thus completed in 2 minutes, and he motioned to his servant that he wanted to go. The devotees were stunned at his brief, powerful entry. I would start here, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anuradha Mataji.
What's this? No. No.
Mataji, who would like to continue?
No.
Mataji, I would like to request everybody, can you mute your phones? So Mataji, who want to continue from next para, that same evening? So I can continue, Mataji. Hare Krishna. That same evening, Prabhupada came down again from his room. Again he sat on his Vyasasana and said he would teach a song, Parama Karuna. He started chanting slowly with his kartals, and the devotees tried to follow, although few knew the song. Parama Karuna Bahudujana Nitai Gaurachandra Saba Avatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. After a few minutes, he asked devotees to play along with him on Mridanga. A few tried, but no one seemed able to find the right beat. Srila Prabhupada then stopped them and said he would show the right drum pattern. He had a devotee rewind the tape recorder that had got just recorded Prabhupada playing kartals and chanting so that he could accompany himself. The devotees were especially surprised since no one could remember exactly how long it had been since he had played the mridanga. The devotees produced one old mridanga, but it sounded dead. The second drum was passed forward, but it was also dead. Then a boy offered his personal drum, a mridanga, covered with a bright red and gold cloth. Srila Prabhupada placed it on tapped Tal's mridanga that Srila Prabhupada had put on his glass. Concentration
breaking.
Not
able to hear Mataji. Dandavat Pranam Haribol.
Mataji, are you not able to hear?
No, Mataji. It was breaking. It was too much cutting, Raji.
Oh, okay. 1 minute, Mataji.
It's okay.
Be quiet now. Nitaye Sudrat Vishwasa Kori Vishaya Chariya se Rase
Supriya Gopi not able to hear you, Mataji. Vilasini Gopi, can you please connect again?
Yeah. She's connecting back, Mataji. She has lost connection. She will come back.
Mataji, just give me 1 minute, Mataji. I'm starting my computer. It got disconnected from my computer, Mataji. Sorry for this trouble, Mataji. One moment, Mataji. I'm making it ready.
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com. There are 13 participants in the conference. The recording has started.
Mataji, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Sorry for the disturbance, Mataji. I'm continuing. Let me share the screen. Okay. I am starting to read, Mataji. 1 minute. When Prabhupada finished singing, he explained, Pahu means Prabhu. A shortcut of Prabhu is Pahu. Prabhu means Lord or Master. So these two Prabhus are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is addressed as Mahaprabhu and others are addressed as Prabhu. So these two Prabhus, Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are very merciful. It was as if Srila Prabhupada was giving a purport to the uncontrollable ecstasy that overcame him earlier when he was unable to speak. Parama Karuna means extremely merciful. Prabhupada explained, extremely merciful because Krishna is also merciful. Since he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his original feature, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also Krishna, but he is acting as devotee. He is not acting as Krishna. He is acting as a devotee of Krishna. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne. Srila Prabhupada then quoted the words of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for the describing the mercy of the Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya has come to teach us because we are all in the bodily concept of life. He has come to teach us detachment and devotional service to Krishna. Prabhupada recited another verse, the one Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered to Ramananda Raya as the perfection of religion. That verse begins, Gnana Prayasam Udapasya Namnante Eva. The meaning Srila Prabhupada explained is that one should give up other processes and just hear about Krishna. And to hear about him, you do not require to change your position. Sthanes, you are scientist, that is all right. You are lawyer, that's all right. You are fool, that's all right. But you do one thing. You use your ear and hear from the realized soul. In this explanation, Srila Prabhupada told of different events of the life of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come here in Atlanta. He concluded, so you worship this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Parama Karuna Pahudi Jana. They are very, very merciful. A little service will enhance your devotional service to a larger scale. Thank you so much, Mataji. So I'm stopping here, Mataji. So anybody who did not get chance, Mataji, please continue from the next para, the next morning.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Anjana Gopika Mataji. Please go ahead.
From where, Mataji?
Next morning, devotees rushed. Can you see, Mataji? I have highlighted. I'm just moving up the screen.
Yeah, I didn't see.
The next morning.
I didn't see Mataji in the.
Oh, you're not able to see, Mataji? Oh, sorry.
I can see Mataji, but I didn't see the.
Okay. I'm highlighting this, Mataji, in the blue color. Now, can you see, Mataji?
No, Mataji.
Okay.
We all can see, Mataji.
Yeah, we can. Oh, really? Yes, Mataji. I can only see that the Bajra, Vai, Chaitanya, Nitai. That part I could see, Mataji. I don't know. Is this problem for me?
I think you have to refresh, maybe, Mataji.
Mataji, you get out of the conference call and then come in, Mataji. Then it will come.
Or else refresh button also. Meanwhile, Mataji, can anybody want to read, Mataji?
Yeah, 1 second, Mataji. Just doing.
Okay.
Yeah, the next morning. The next morning, devotees rose to accompany Srila Prabhupada on a walk in Piedmont Park. Book distributors from Tripurari's party as well as the library party men went along to ask Srila Prabhupada questions. The weather was usually cool. Lilamrta, the temple president, had warmed up the car 10 minutes in advance so that Prabhupada would not be cold. This cold is not bad, Prabhupada remarked. Actually, it is pleasant. Nevertheless, Srila Prabhupada wore his full-length saffron coat with hood and lining. He left his head uncovered and his forehead bore fresh white tilaka marks. Several garlands were draped over his chest. Walking briskly, he strode through the landed park while devotees ran alongside, covering their heads with chadaras and rubbing their hands together in the invigorating chilly air. Tripurari. Srila Prabhupada, sometimes when we give someone a book, he says, I never read it. Srila Prabhupada talked. You asked him, so you want to remain Muda? Tripurari. Why say no? Take it home and someday you will read it. But they will think they can find out on their own. Prabhupada, that is foolishness. They cannot. Mama eva e prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Can you go to meet Mataji?
Tarantiti. Hare Krishna Mataji, again, maybe it's, okay. Tarantiti.
I moved the screen, Mataji.
Yeah, it's a Mataji. Tarantiti. Hare Krishna. Yeah. As they walked, Prabhupada noticed a big sign by the lake marked, "No swimming." Oh, Prabhupada remarked, "Who is going to swim now?" The devotees laughed, a comic relief to their shivering. Tripurari, once Balavanta was very sick when he was dealing with politicians, and I heard that you said that it was because by tossing them and associating with them, he accepted some of their sinful reactions. Prabhupada shocked again. I didn't say, but it may be, Tripurari. So I was wondering, sometime our men on Sankirtana are shaking hands. Prabhupada, if you are on Sankirtana, you cannot be infected. If somebody is infected, then preaching will stop. If a doctor is infected, then treatment will stop. But the doctor is never infected. They have a good precautions. Similarly, when you are engaged in Sankirtana, Maya cannot touch you. Mayam etam tarantiti. One of the devotees from the library party spoke up and told some of their experience in dealing with professors, devotees. When we take your books out on the library party to the professor, they say that they are very surprised that one person has written so many books. So I am also surprised, Prabhupada said. How I have written so many? What do we speak of them? It is all Krishna's mercy, devotees. One professor the other days was saying, just like a man, like a devotee, that you are coming in disciplic succession and were authorized to translate all the books. Yes, that is right, Prabhupada agree. In fact, that authority I have got. I was explaining last evening, don't speculate. That is the qualification. All other, they are simply speculating. For most of the devotees on the walk that morning, it was the first time they had ever been able to approach Srila Prabhupada in person. They had been dedicatedly serving him day and night for years, and this was the chance of lifetime. In some cases, the questions they asked were calculated to wash away all their doubts and would be the basis of their entire devotional strength in the future. In the mood, one of the library party distributors, Mahaburi, moved in close beside Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Mahaburi said, "In my service, I have to always meet many educated people, much more educated than I am. So we are trying to present the philosophy, but I am not so inclined to study all your books. I am just not scholarly inclined." Prabhupada laughed and replied, "Just pray to Krishna then. Tesam satata yuktanam vachatam priti purvakam." Pray like this to Krishna every day. "My dear Krishna, please give me the intelligence so that I may be able to become empowered." On the second day of Prabhupada's jam-packed stay in Atlanta, the devotee, a scientist, wanted to see him. Srila Prabhupada had already given his PhD disciple Swarupa Damodara many instructions defeating the atheistic theories of the scientists. And Swarupa Damodara had written a small book, The Scientific Basics of Krishna Consciousness, which pleased Srila Prabhupada very much. Now Swarupa Damodara, Sada Puta, and other PhD scientists who had become Srila Prabhupada's initiated disciple gathered in Atlanta to get his darshan and further advice. They also hoped to hear Srila Prabhupada talk with some guests that they had invited from the scientific world. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much, Anjana Gopika Mataji. Hare Krishna, Praneshwari Mataji. Danvat Prana. Please go ahead, Mataji. In a meeting with these disciples.
Thank you, Mataji. In a meeting with these disciple scientists, Srila Prabhupada expressed his intense desire to see Krishna consciousness philosophy defeat the bombastic claims of science that life occurs by chance or from matter. These people have no common sense, Srila Prabhupada said, and they all pass as scientists. That we must protest, because we are servants of God. We are not servants of scientists. Call them directly rascal. We are not a scientist, but we speak from common sense, that's all. So many people are being misled by these scientists and politicians. Srila Prabhupada commented that the creation is already created, and therefore the scientists should get no credit in their latest attempts to imitate the creation with their test tube babies. We have got the test tube, Srila Prabhupada said. Bhagavad Gita, as soon as you see a man who has not surrendered to Krishna, all right, then he is a Muda, that's all. Like the book distributors, Swarup Damodar and his scientist godbrothers questioned Prabhupada to their heart's content, and with great enthusiasm he urged them to answer as he was doing and expose the rascals. On the same day, in the presence of his scientist disciples, Srila Prabhupada met with an Indian scientist who was a specialist in nutrition. The man explained that his work benefited mankind by finding the cause of and treating protein deficiency. Srila Prabhupada replied, suppose no birds and beasts have no such research institutes. Yet there is sufficient protein supplied by nature. An elephant has got a big body and so much strength, but they have not found that by your scientific research. The nature is supplying. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha. It is being done. Why you are wasting time in this way? Thus you study what is Prakriti and what is behind Prakriti. That is real study. The protein supply is already being done, just like a cow is eating grass and she is supplying milk, full of protein. So do you think that the protein is coming from the grass? Can you eat grass? Scientists, something must be. Prabhupada, that is something. That is not perfect knowledge. Everyone knows the cow does not take any protein food. She just takes on the grass. Scientists, grass is quite rich in protein. Prabhupada, then why are you searching after protein? Scientists, because we cannot digest the fiber in it. Prabhupada, then it is not suitable for you. Therefore, nature's arrangement is that protein can be produced through the body of the cow. Scientists, I think, Swamiji, nature's arrangement was not made for that many human beings as we have now on the earth. Prabhupada, nature was defective, you mean to say? Scientists, no, sir. Prabhupada, then? Scientists, I mean nature's way is designed that the ecological balance of the... And so it went. When the Indian scientist said that the flesh of the cow was valuable for its protein, Prabhupada became disgusted. But however much protein you may accumulate, Prabhupada challenged, can you stop your death? After debating some 40 minutes with the Indian scientist, the devotees abruptly brought a professor of religion from Emory University into the room. It was simply one meeting after another for Srila Prabhupada. The devotees were perhaps not completely aware that they were, in effect, asking Srila Prabhupada to talk non-stop all day, but he did not complain. He immediately asked the professor, what is your definition of religion? And then, in the silence, Prabhupada launched into a definitive discussion of God consciousness according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Mataji. I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Praneshwari Mataji. Mataji, who did not get a chance, would like to read from next para along with the professor. Okay, Mataji. Then today's session we would like to stop here reading, Mataji, and we would like to continue our realization session, Mataji. So I request all the Matajis on the call, can you please share your realizations of today's reading, Matajis?
Hare Krishna, Supriya Mataji. Nama Supriya Mataji and Hare Krishna to all the devotees.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji.
Thank you so much for the very beautiful session. I was specifically attracted to Prabhupada's stay in Atlanta, especially his breaking down, looking at the Gaurnitai deities and singing Parama Karuna Dui Jana, that song. It was so beautiful, and even now we can see the attachment that the devotees there have to Prabhupada's coming there. They have so many pictures of Prabhupada coming, and that Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that's one temple where Gaurnitai occupy the center in the altar. That is, they are in the center, and Radha Krishna, Radha Madan Mohan is on the side actually. So they are the most compassionate, very, very beautiful deities. And it's very, very nice because in this reading that we read today, we also saw about the devotees in Atlanta and how Saraswati Prabhu was actually talking to Prabhupada, and he was receiving instructions. Although Swarup Damodar Maharaj had written a book on scientists and about the comparison between scientists, today's scientific technologies, and the Vedic views. Still, Saraswati Prabhu was given specific instructions to write about creation and the excellent job that he has done. And I used to hear some stories about him that when he was in Atlanta, he was so humble. When he had visited, or maybe when he was, I don't know. But there was one class in Atlanta where they were talking about him, about his humility, how he was a great PhD and astrophysicist. But he would love scrubbing the pots in the temple. So and he was very humble, extremely humble, and he would just take instructions. Any devotee said any instructions, he would just take it as it is, and he would just follow, and he would do the service like that. So just reminded of those classes and the glories of Atlanta Temple, and very importantly, the Gaurnatai deities there. Thank you, Mataji. I know everyone.
Jai. Sweetie Mataji. While I'm reading this Atlanta Mataji, I just remembered you only, Mataji. You can explain better, more elaborately, because you are living there for so many years. So I just thought of you, Mataji, exactly. And you did very good explanation and your personal experience also, Mataji. Thank you so much, Sweetie Mataji. Thank you so much.
So there are so many other devotees from Atlanta who have been there. I know Vrinda Gopika Mataji is also on the call. There are so many people.
Yes, Vrinda Gopika Mataji too. Yes. Vrinda Gopika Mataji can share too. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Koti Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnava. Vilasini Gopi's Seva is amazing, Mataji. Front of them, we are small kids, crawling and walking, start to walk. So I want to share that here comes Nayadi Mataji. She is a Prabhupada disciple. That that is a so bad time that they don't have a money to pay the temple, so that they will go outside and work, go to the every in a downtown, temple is in a downtown area, so they go every shop and they will ask for money, and they work extra. That Parampara Prabhuji and other Balbhadra Prabhuji, Naidi Mataji, they are musicians, so they work in a night time in a pub area. They are a singer, so they play guitar to pay the temple money. And sometimes there is when Vaishnava came, senior Brahmachari, there is no space to sleep. That time Naidi Mataji told that I will sleep near the Sri Jagannath Balaram Subhadra. And Bhakti Lakshmi Mataji, she is also Prabhupada disciple, she sleeps near Sri Gaur Nitai. And they get lots of seva. And they pass from so many crises to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev. And Parampara Prabhuji also explained that there is a Sankirtana in a downtown area, and he become a Vaishnava because Balbhadra Prabhu become a Vaishnava because of that Sankirtan. So that I hear so many stories that all the Vaishnava to Srila Prabhupada Gurudev. This is our duty to serve the Prabhupada Gurudev sincerely. Welcome Vaishnava. Take care of our Vaishnava. Pranam to all. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. So sweet of you sharing those wonderful devotees and their seva in the temple and the relationship with Prabhupada and how they continue their services, Mataji. So wonderful, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, sharing all those. Thank you so much, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Yeah.
Can you please all in our use the phone, please, not able to hear.
So very wonderful. I mean, everything is so wonderful. The Atlanta episode, especially, and talking with the scientists, how he's making a point, and he's very, very happy that the scientist has to be exposed, or because Prabhupada did a big service in this regard, which no other spiritual teacher so far has done it, and Prabhupada is so commendable because of the books and because of the depth and the logical and the scientific presentation. We are able to at least answer the questions and put some logical things for the scientists. Otherwise, they were like just mocking at people who are believing in God. So because they were there, and the whole world's faith is on them, and they are misleading the world. So Prabhupada gave so much importance to preach to the scientists, because if they say, everyone will practically the whole world will listen. So I like that his depth and how he spends time with each of his disciples who has come to meet him with different questions, and in depth he's answering the questions about book distribution, about being in politics, about so many other services. I was imagining he was the only resource for everyone to talk to get. Now we have so much we have so much resources available just at the tip of our fingers. Internet, whomever we want, whenever, whatever class, whichever in history we want, we can just get that. But these devotees, they had no internet, no email, and only person to connect was Srila Prabhupada through letters, and constantly he wrote them letters, giving them inspiration. So we are so grateful to him for that. Inhumanly work. It's beyond the human capacity to do that. To one person to cater to everybody's questions. And one thing that struck me from the last week's reading and this week's reading, the end, with the Christian priest, he's telling that we believe that we are created, and he's accepting that in the sense that the father is creating the sons and not the sons creating the father. In that sense, it's true what you said. I forgot what it was in the last week's reading. Again, in the course of the conversation, when someone says something and there is a little spark in that, a little, that is agreeing to the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada would agree that. Of course, the other things, he wouldn't agree, and he went behind them logically, pinning them down that they have nothing to escape. They can only tell that they cannot, they are cornered. It's what a genius it requires to do that. Two persons from every walk of life. And that's something that I wanted to share. And one more thing is that we can personally take away from this class is that oh my God. The personally is that someone is asking that when we are giving the book, they are telling that we don't have time to read the book and we'll find it off their own, and something like that. He says that they are Muda, and finally he says that this is one Prabhu who's telling that I have to preach to many times people who are more educated than me. So he says that Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. So you pray to Krishna that let me be empowered to do this service. So that was a very nice takeaway point, Mataji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, Laltangi Mataji. You summarized it very wonderful in a short and sweet way, Mataji. And just I want to add just one prasadam to the realizations, Mataji. Prabhupada did all, and the prasadam too. It was good expression on prasadam also. And how he gave the importance of prasadam. If you simply eat the prasadam also, we can get human form of life in our next life.
Yeah. Amazing. What he has given is amazing. Like, I mean, it's so in depth, and there's no, I mean, we can go on discussing in depth and analyzing his life, what he gave in different fields of life. And yeah, to anyone and everyone, he could bring their spiritual life up.
Yes, Mataji. And one point, Mataji, you are telling that in olden days, while Prabhupada was giving all these instructions, there was no internet, emails, and everything. For me, it is, Mataji, I'm feeling that now we are getting this kind of communications like email, WhatsApp, videos on YouTube, easily accessible. So I'm thinking now the people are taking it granted. Not this day or that day we can utilize it. It is in our YouTube or in our phone. We can utilize at any point of time in the day. So it became like it became like a lazy, some kind of laziness to the brain, Mataji. At that time,
if this kind of communication was there during Prabhupada's time, Prabhupada's disciples would have done, amazing job. Because they have dedicated their life. They use their intelligence. They are so much, they have sacrificed so much for us. Yeah. Now we have everything, but we are not doing even to not even very less percentage to what they did in taking the movement out.
Yes, Mataji, yes, that is true. Because of the more advancement of the technology, our human brain is becoming lazy, not using human brain. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Very, very beautiful reading, Mataji. Such a nice realizations from the Gopika Mataji, Priti Vilasni Mataji, and Laltangi Mataji. Mataji, I just want to share a few points. Especially here, I really liked when Prabhupada was talking about the picture that was hanging, and he was seeing it, Krishna and Arjuna picture, and he was telling that, Krishna is telling to Arjuna to leave everything and just surrender, but it is not possible. Like that was very heart touching, Mataji. And the other one is, and in the beginning of the reading we saw how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is so merciful. At least Krishna sees that we are qualified or not, but Lord Chaitanya never sees. He's so merciful, and he came without any astra, like any weapon or anything. His main weapon was Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Just if you cannot do anything, just sit and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can reach our goal. And there Prabhupada was especially talking about prasadam. So true, Mataji. Just you don't do anything, just keep on eat prasadam. You will definitely one day come back, and then you see, oh, I'm missing all this, I have to start chanting. It's personally happened to me also. So I really want to thanks to Prabhupada about the prasadam that is so heart touching, Mataji, and it's dragging many people like me, I guess. It is very nice, Mataji. I used to feel ashamed when people used to knock my door and give me prasadam. I used to eat it like, wow, what a yummy cake, yummy food, let me eat it. I used to enjoy. I used to not go for inside for Bhakti Vriksha. But people, they are so sweet. They used to knock and give it to me. So by eating that prasadam, finally one day I went inside the room. I sat there, I chanted. Slowly that's how my Krishna consciousness started, Mataji, because of that prasadam. I would like to thank all the devotees who gave me prasadam first to encourage me to go into Krishna consciousness, Mataji. Such a beautiful reading, and what Lalitangi Mataji said, the take home point, I really liked it, Mataji. We should just pray to Krishna that to give that empower so that we can do our regular sadhana and we can progress in our spiritual life, Mataji. Such a beautiful reading today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vinita Mataji, and your personal experience and how you came to Krishna consciousness sadhana. It was so inspiring, Mataji, to all of us for sharing that.
Yeah, Hare Krishna,
Sorry,
Mataji.
Mataji.
No, I don't have too much to speak, but I wanted to share one point from like Vinita Mataji read. Like Prabhupada is saying, service to Krishna is not easy. You have to kill your family members. Like Arjuna was not ready to kill his family members, so that's why Krishna has to tell Bhagavad Gita. And same situation in our life means I did not realize that, but now Prabhupada is saying like when we are in devotional service, we are in the position of Arjuna, and Krishna is telling us that whatever comes in the way, even though they are your family members, just kill them and go ahead, just for service. So see all the sannyasis and all the devotees who preach, they don't care about their family members. They care about Prabhupada's mission. So I like that point. Thank you, Mataji.
Supriya Mataji is there, right? Yeah, very beautifully said, Mataji. Very beautiful. And even I like the discussion between the scientist and Prabhupada, how he was arguing about that grass. Why don't you eat that grass directly instead of cow eating and giving you protein from that, you can eat directly. It was very nice, Mataji. And he was also talking about the cleaning of that area, yard. You look other people's houses very clean, and we were not keeping clean. It was very nice. He was telling this is all Krishna's property, we should keep clean. And that discussion between Mataji, could you hear me, Mataji?
Mataji.
Yeah, and also the discussion between when they were going walk, right? And in between they stopped and they were discussing how that Prabhu was feeling. Even though I am just next to Srila Prabhupada, I feel like I'm millions miles far away, because Prabhupada's Krishna consciousness and my Krishna consciousness is very, very different. And also Prabhupada was stressing on the meaning of Prabhu. Prabhu means the Lord. They are very, very merciful. He was telling about the deities, right? That is also so beautiful. Very nice reading, Mataji, if I remember. Like it's not continuously flowing, but when I stop again, I could remember one more nice point, Mataji. It was so beautiful reading. Heart touching, Mataji.
Thank you, Vinita. That was sweet. I wasn't on the class from the beginning, so I'm enjoying listening to what you read before I got on. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Shama Gauri Mataji, Vinita Mataji, Praneshwari Mataji. I got disconnected, Mataji. Sorry for this trouble. I will check my laptop, Mataji, again.
Yeah. I just wanted to share two thoughts that came to my mind. I didn't read much, but definitely the part where the Srila Prabhupada said, the devotee said that I'm not as educated as the people that I distribute to, and I'm not real philosopher. I can't read. And Prabhupada said, well, just chant Hare Krishna. Just pray to Krishna to give you the intelligence. So I really like that part. And two things from what you all were discussing about. One thing I was thinking about, there's no internet and all this stuff during those days. And I remember that when they would get a letter from Srila Prabhupada, whoever the letter was to, that would be read, all the devotees would be there in the morning and they would read it out loud because, everybody wanted to hear whatever the letter was. So that's why they shared, which could have been a personal letter, but parts of it they might not have read, but they would share whatever Prabhupada wrote to everybody in the temple. And I thought that was very sweet. That was one way they stayed connected. And the other thing I was thinking of was, it goes to show that even without so many, internet and all these different opportunities that they didn't have during that time, just to see what they accomplished, proves the fact that when this pure devotee comes, many come together it seems, in order to get the mission going. So all these different people that helped Srila Prabhupada push the movement forward were definitely very, very advanced souls. And, we are very blessed to not only be in the company of, or know of Srila Prabhupada and be in the company of Srila Prabhupada, but also the fact that all of us have the opportunity to be in the association of those devotees, Giraj Maharaj, Pataka Swami Maharaj, who are still on this planet and who are with Srila Prabhupada. So we are definitely in great company. We are definitely blessed. We must have done something, some little thing of pious activity to be able to be in the association of such high-class devotees. So I'm just being very grateful for that in this time. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So well said, Praneshwari Mataji. So well said. Yeah, that is true. I myself feel I'm like, what did I do? I just got this great opportunity from our Guru Maharaj. That is true, Mataji. We are absolutely in this great protection, Mataji. That is true. Thank you so much, Praneshwari Mataji, for those really beautiful realizations, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Mataji.
Yeah, so I wanted to share, like, when Prabhupada was explaining about when it has been explained about the God Nitai deities, and I was so relishing the explanation those are given, like how merciful they are. And last Sunday, God Nitai came to our house, and we had and they came very surprisingly, mystically they came. They were meant for somebody else. They very old deities, but they never got the worship. And they finally, the senior couple, they said, will you take them? And I could not say no. But I accepted. And on my initiation, I actually got God Nitai. And it was on God Purnima Day. So I was really like enjoying when they were saying how merciful they are. So I just had, I just felt how merciful they were to us. Like, I don't do very good deity service. Still, they came to our house, and it was really very touchy and very personal to me. And the other point I felt was like when Srila Prabhupada, somebody said, one devotee said that their professors are so surprised that how can one person write so many books. And Prabhupada said, I am also surprised, and that is only by Krishna's mercy that so many books can be written by one person within such a short period. Yeah, Mataji, that is so amazing. How humble Srila Prabhupada is. He is like, in a normal material life, we see somebody when they are like, you see any star or sports person, anybody. In the beginning, they will be so humble, nice, and once they see the success, they become so proud, and then in the beginning they will say it's all because of the audience and the people, and towards when they get what they want, they will say it's all because of me. But Srila Prabhupada, from beginning to end, he always gave the credit to his Guru Maharaj and his disciples. He never took it for himself, and here also he is saying, yeah, it is Krishna's mercy. So those are the points, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Wow. Wonderful, Anuradha Mataji. The personal story you shared about Gaur Nitai's coming unexpectedly, and it was a surprise mercy for you. That is really heart-touching to all of us, Mataji. And the second realization also, how Srila Prabhupada is giving the credit to all his devotees, Guru Maharaj and Krishna. That is also very, very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much, Anuradha Mataji, sharing those beautiful points. So, Mataji, if there are no more, so shall we wind up the class, Mataji? So, I would like to wind up today's class by paying my obeisances to all the Matajis on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhobhyaiva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Jai Namaji Jai. Vrinda ki Jai. Little Vrinda ki Jai.
Jai Supriya Mataji, Jai all Vaishnava, Dandat Pranam. Thank you Mataji, Hare Krishna.